To begin, I am going to ensure that my face is clean. Even though I just washed my face, I'm still going to go in with these baby wipes just to, take off any dirt that might be on my skin before I apply any makeup product on it. And after cleansing my face, I am going in with this hydrating product. It's called Douye Essence by TM Essentials. It's a Nigerian brand. And basically, it just gives you, the proper hydration that you need to balance out any other makeup product that you'll be applying on your face. So notice how, I am applying it to every corner of my face, even down to my neck area. This particular product is great for all skin types. So whether you have an oily, dry combination, normal skin, you can use this product because it is water-based and it gives amazing hydration to all skin types. You want to ensure that, this product is probably absorbed into your skin before your next routine. So get a fan and let it dry in. Next, I am going in with this Cosrx product, this snail mucin. This is also water-based, so it's amazing for all skin types. And I'm going to be using it to get more moisture and hydration into my skin. So notice how I am particularly putting the bulk of the product underneath my eye. You want to ensure that that area is properly hydrated to avoid any form of creasing. So I'm going to, put it everywhere on my face also, making sure that my skin properly absorbs this product. It is very important that each product that you use, you give it some time to, let it properly sink into your skin before you move on to the next product. If you cannot wait, you need to get yourself a fan, that would just help you speed up the process and dry it all up. So yeah. Next, I'll be going in with an oil control base primer. This one is from Adventure. It's also a Nigerian brand. And I'm going to be using very little quantity of this. Like you can see from what I'm trying to show you, I'm using just 2 pea drops. 2 pea sized of the primer, and I'm going to be applying it directly on my T-zone areas alone and my eyebrow. Now it's very important to always prime your eyebrows. It's because you want that area to stay matte all through, so you should always ensure that you prime your eyebrows during your skin prep routine. After priming your eyebrows, definitely I'll go for my nose, I'll go for my forehead area, just any area that you think you're likely to break out a sweat or oil, just apply. For someone with a dry skin, I'll be applying this e.t.c spray. It's a hydrating spray also. It's that if you have an oily skin, you don't actually need 3 steps of hydration in your skin prep routine. I'm doing this because I have a dry skin and I want to get as much hydration as I need. If you have a normal combination or oily skin, trust me, just 2 hydration products are fine for you. Again, make sure that everything you use sinks in before you move into the next thing. After I'm done with my skin prep, I'm going in with my foundation. So for foundation, I'll be using 2 different brands. I'm using this Mayuri Beauty. It's a Nigerian brand, and I actually really like this foundation because it is hydrating and it is lightweight and has a very good coverage. I'll be mixing it with the MAC foundation, which has like a mattifying formula than the hydrating one, just to give both a balance. So I am prepping my beauty blender here. Never use your beauty blender dry, guys. Please always make sure that it is damp. And I'm going to be using my beauty blender to pick my foundation and gently dab on my skin. Now it's very important that you apply very little pressure when using your beauty blender to put on your foundation, because you don't want to be lifting the foundation off your skin. You're actually trying to blend it to stay on. So be very light-handed when you are applying your foundation with a beauty blender. Next, I'll be going in with a concealer to highlight my face, and I'm using a concealer that's just 1 shade lighter than me. This concealer is from Newborn Beauty. I think it's shade 45. Yes, and notice how I'm just using very little, guys. Little goes a long way. You don't want to use so much product and end up finding it really hard to blend it out. So I always advise that you go little and then you can add more to build up as much as you want, but first start little. So I'm going to use my beauty blender, the same beauty blender that I used to blend my foundation. The same side of the beauty blender that I used to blend my foundation is what I'm using to also gently dab on the concealer. When blending your concealer, you want to be careful not to spread it down. You just want to keep it underneath your eye area and blend it upwards to lift your face. After properly blending out the concealer on my forehead, nose, and on my chin, I am going in with this lip stain, this orange lip stain, which I'm going to be applying on the highest point of my cheeks, serve as my blush color. Now you want to make sure that you put very little, and if you feel like you need more color, then you can add on, but your first application should be very little. And I'm also blending with that same beauty blender that I use for my foundation and concealer. I'm gently just blending that into my cheeks. I'll smile just to check that we're on the right track, and add more if you feel like you want it to pop a bit more, which I did here, and I'm just blending it out. After blending out my blush, I am going in with this concealer to brighten my under eye area. This particular concealer is like 2-3 shades lighter than me, and I just want it to give some brightness to that under eye area. I'm going in with the same beauty blender, but I'm using the exact spot that I used to blend out the blush because I don't want the color to transfer to my concealer. I turned the beauty blender a bit to a new side so I can give it a proper blend. Personally, I do not like to spread the brightening concealer everywhere, so notice how I'm just blending it just where I placed it earlier on, just blending on that spot alone and not focus on spreading it all over my under eye. Next, I am going to be setting the concealer with a powder, and I'm going to be using this compact powder that's like 2 shades lighter than me to set my highlighting concealer. And I'm going to be using my beauty blender for this process. You can use your powder puff. Basically, when you pick up this powder with whatever tool that you want to use, either your beauty blender or a powder puff, you want to ensure that you flatten it out. You want to ensure that you're not taking so much product, and before you go straight with that powder, you need to reblend that concealer before you go straight with the powder, because however it is when you place that powder, when you press that powder in, that's how it's going to stay. So you have to make sure that you go back to reblend before you place your powder to set. At this point, you also want to use that powder to set the remaining areas where you applied your concealer, which is your nose, your forehead area, and your chin. Next, I'll be going in with that same powder that I used to set and a blending brush just to, blend that underneath my eye properly to avoid any creasing. So when you pick up this powder with your blending brush, make sure to place it first. Like just press it on there first before you now try to blend it out. So next, I'm going to be setting my entire face, that is setting my foundation with my shade of powder using that powder palette. It's a Nigerian brand. It's called Beach and Ageless. I'm going to be using my shade out of that palette to set the foundation on my face. It's important to note that when you're using your powder brush, you should use the side of your brush. Use the flat side of your brush to apply the powder on your skin to set your foundation first. This will ensure that you don't, mess up the foundation that you have on your skin. You need the powder to be able to mattify the surface before you can go ahead and use the bristles. But for now, please always ensure that you use the side of your brush, the flat side, to apply powder all over your face to set your foundation. After properly setting my entire face, I am going in with powder blush, and I'm going to be using this eyeshadow palette that I got a while ago. I love this particular eyeshadow palette because it has colors that I would normally use for my blush: orange, yellow, red, pink, and purple. If you even check on the palette, I've finished some of them already. We'll be using this fluffy round brush to apply my blush, and again, remember, you want to ensure that you apply your blush at the highest point of your cheekbones. Take note on where I started to place my blush before I came forward to my cheeks. My blush, I'm moving on to contour. Using a shade 2 times darker than my actual shade on this powder palette to powder contour my face. And whenever it is that you want to contour, I need you to imagine like you're writing the number 3 on your face, and please take notes of the areas where I will be placing the powder contour shade on my face. After contouring my face, I'm going ahead to contour my nose. I'll be going in with the darkest shade first to contour the outer V of my nose area. The first part, just focus on that top area using the darkest shade on there to create that V. Then moving forward for the rest of my nose, I'm taking a shade just darker than my actual shade. Just one shade, not as dark as the shade you used for the top part. I'm going to be using a shade darker than me to blend out, to the rest areas of my nose. Now it's time to ensure that you set all that powder, to blend in well with your foundation with a setting spray. And this one I'm using is from Kiss Beauty. Any setting spray or any makeup fix spray will do a good job. You just want to make sure that, the powder and the foundation just blends well with each other, and I've achieved a skin-like finish. Now remember, if you can't wait for the setting spray to dry, if you don't have enough time on you, make sure to get a fan that will help you to, make that product sink in and get it to do its job. On that note, we have come to the end of this video. The next video, we're going to continue with the eyebrows, eyeshadow, lip stains, highlighter, and every other thing there is to complete this look. If you have any questions based on everything that you have seen so far, be free to drop a comment on it, and I will definitely respond to it. And whatsoever that whatever content you want to see me, or any makeup questions that you have, please drop them in the comment section. And if you learned anything from this video, please also drop in the comment section. The part 2 of this video will be dropping in the next 24 hours. Please subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.